Welcome again to another Ascension Football Show. I'm Kieran Edwards. And today we are joined with two guys within the sport, one a former player, one a journalist, to go through in terms of international football has resumed. And we are going through the top 5 leagues in Europe, some World Cup qualifying. And we'd have some discussions in terms of the changing things within football, transfers. The transfer deadline was recently closed. And when we come back, we go into that discussion with these two, I think, fun guys to have on set.
I'll have to agree with Ansel, the English League, because of its marketing,
A lot of injuries will compete this season as far as I see it,
I think Ronaldo's spot is automatic when he squad. So, but and we are joined on set with two guys, as I said. One is a journalist, Jasik Morik, from Guardian Media Limited, yes. And also Ansel Elcock, a regular guest to the Ascension Football Show. Ansel Elcock, former player, former national player, former international player, to give us his views on international football. Let's get into it, guys. I think we had the debate offset. The top, which is the top league in Europe, out of the top 5. We know Germany, Italy, England, Spain, France. Ansel, let me start with you. Which is your top league? Which one you determine is the top league in Europe?
Oh, well, definitely will have to be the English league because of the finance and the media coverage and stuff. So it will definitely be the English league.
English league.
Yeah, I'll have to agree with Ansel, the English League, because of its marketing, they've done a really fantastic job in making that, having that presence around the world. If you like football and or you're a fan of football, the first thing that you gravitate towards, I think, would be the English League. But if I had to throw a little spoke in the wheel, I won't say my favorite, but I really enjoy watching the German League. For the style of football that all of the teams play there, it's really fast-paced, really entertaining, and that's what you watch football for, for entertainment.
Well, for me, I'm a little biased. I'm a Real Madrid fan. I think Real Madrid is the best club team ever. And for the last maybe 10, 15 years, we have been the most dominant team in Europe. So I would always say Spain has been. I know a lot of Barca fans with Messi going to France would migrate because the bandwagon is and stuff with Barcelona in the last couple of years with Messi. But I still believe when it comes to Europe, the Spanish league still stands tall in terms of when it comes to European tournaments. So
to be fair, these statistics are there to show. Spain has really dominated the top European club competitions. When we look at the Champions League, you look at the Europa League, they've really dominated. So you have to get jacket, but
thanks.
I think any right thinking football fan would gravitate towards the English league.
Yeah, but because the English league too, from top to bottom, I would say from top to bottom, the English league would be the strongest league. Competitive. Yeah. So I want to go through. Alright, so we'll start with the English league. I will concede to you guys with the 2 against 1. I can't argue with that. But let's go through in terms of the English Premier League. 3 weeks in, 3 rounds of football being played. Tottenham at the top of the table. What's your views on the past 3 weeks of football?
Well, it's early days yet in the Premier League. Tottenham really have done well. I would even say above expectations so far. They brought in a new coach, and for a team sort of in turmoil with the uncertainty of their main man, their talisman in Harry Kane, whether he would have stayed or gone. And I think they've really done a really a good job so far. It's just 3 games, as I said, but Tottenham deserve to be
3 clean sheets as well.
3 clean sheets. They've shown a bit of weakness in the goal scoring area. Maybe when Kane comes back to full integration into the team, they'll rectify that problem. But definitely, I think they've shocked many people. I think Chelsea would have been looking to be perfect had it not been for that draw against Liverpool. But definitely, so far, so good.
Ansel, you being a defender, 3 clean sheets. 3-1-0
Yeah,
victories.
That's what you strive on, win is win.
Yeah.
You can win 1-0, you can win 5-0 as long as they don't score on you. So that's most important. But I honestly think that new coach, new energy.
Yeah.
They give the other forward a chance. This song guy been terrific. He been the man for me a couple of years now. Well, as much as Harry Kane get all the praises, Song been there, been doing his thing. So I think they will do well, but they will be in the top 4, but they're not gonna stay there.
You're playing them in the top 4 already. Early days, and
just to add to what Ansel was saying, I think what we've seen so far with Tottenham is, that rallying. The general was uncertain whether he would stay with the club or not, and you've seen Son, you've seen Lucas Moura, etc., sort of band together and decide, whether Kane is here or not, we have a job to do, and we can't do the job with or without him. So Tottenham, as Ansel was saying, I think they will be in and or around the top 4, but they're not going to be at the very top.
They won't stay on the top of the table. But all right, so we know Harry Kane is staying at Tottenham for at least until January. He's not the captain currently. Do you think he would get back the captain ban officially from the next game coming off the international break, or would you think Julio Lloris will stay as the skipper of Tottenham?
I think Ansel might be better suited to answer, from that dynamic of belief within your squad. You don't want to be your captain's armband is not something you want to be passing around for everybody to get a chance and to get a taste and a feel. But I think, having expressed this desire to leave, certainly the club must, and the directors, etc., must realize that he doesn't have a long future there. So wherever the armband is now, it would be better to leave it there with
So Ansel, you being a former player, international player, your skipper has some discussion in terms of leaving, uncertainty, doesn't leave, came back to training late. We appoint someone as a skipper. 3 games in, they won. Your skipper is back. What do? Do you give back the skipper?
They would leave it there.
They will leave it.
Definitely leave it there. It's a France captain too, French captain, so there's no big of a difference. Good leadership for the years. And
it's not like they get Denny Ali the captain ban and then you're studying Denny Ali for that.
There's also a twist in it. They can give him it to show loyalty, to help motivate him to stay, because they don't really want to lose him too, because he's the main talisman.
I believe he would have some goals within it. He was the top scorer, top assist getter last season. This season, he normally doesn't have a good September anyhow. For most years, he doesn't have. He normally score 1 or 2 goals, so it's nothing strange if he miss a couple of games in September. I think he would pick up in time to come.
I think what they would want to guard against the most, as you mentioned, if he goes in January, you want to get the best out of him for the remainder of the year. You want to make sure that he's in tip-top shape week in, week out. We know that it's going to be difficult to do so with the international calendar. And his engagements with England, but you want to make sure that Harry Kane stays fit. He's there for now. There's no use in freezing him out, so to speak. So you want to keep him in the squad. You want to keep him fit. You want to keep him motivated. So maybe you might give him back the armband
and hope that he stays
until January, or best case scenario until next transfer window at the end of the season. You want to get the most out of Harry Kane, and I mean it will benefit him as well, because he will need to shop himself around. Something that we have not seen for quite some time is the number of highly sought after forwards in Europe. Mbappe is expected to go on a free to Real Madrid if he does leave PSG at all. You have Haaland, so Kane would want to stay in the squad, stay fit, stay sharp, so that his price, his attractiveness will remain very high.
We might be the top, because we hear in Lewandowski as well might be an upshot, saying that he wants a greater challenge.
Potentially a lot of top quality forwards, number 9s on the market by the end of the season. So.
We want to move to West Ham, a surprise team. Many persons thought West Ham would have dropped off a bit, losing, not acquiring Lingard from Manchester United. they thought they would have dropped off. They are basically top goal scorers, well, tied top goal scorers in the league thus far. 3 games, 10 goals. Is West Ham a surprise in terms of just being there for now, or would
To
they fall
me,
off?
definitely, but we only 3 games in this season, you know. What Leicester did a couple of years ago, I think that was a one-off. You're not going to see that again, at least for the next 20 years.
So you don't believe West Ham have what it takes to stay around and make a push?
The depth in the team with the amount of games that they play in the English league, and then the international games, a lot of injuries will kick in this season as far as I see it, you know. So I think they don't have the depth in the team to stay.
I want to disagree slightly with Ansel on that point, because I think what we've seen is they are riding high still from the end of last season. You know, nobody expected them to finish where they finished, and I think that's what we see with West Ham here. And I think they could sustain it because they made 1 or 2 really good signings in terms of shoring up certain areas of the field. I think another thing that they benefit from is the hunger of these players to prove themselves. As no one-off, no once in a blue moon sort of achievement. Will they win the league? I don't think so. In the mold of Leicester City in 2016, I don't think they're going to win. But a lot of these traditional top 4, top 5 teams will find it very uncomfortable dealing with West Ham throughout this season. And I think so far they've shown that, you know, that capacity and that ability to really be the thorn in the sides of some of the bigger teams. Lingard or not. I think they may not have the depth as they'll be playing in Europe as well. They may not have the depth to sustain these heights that we see them here second on the league currently after 3 games. But I think they're going to be around that top 4, top 5, top 6. Definitely, if they count them, and I'm willing to put some money on it.
You're willing to, what we have a Caribbean boy, Antonio, leading the lines, top goal scorer in the league thus far, 4 goals out of the 3 games. Choosing to play with Jamaica, how much of a Caribbean support would West Ham have? We saw Manchester United basically got all the supporters in Trinidad and Tobago with Dwight York in 98, 99 seasons. Do you think the Caribbean will rally around West Ham as well in terms of with Antonio being there and doing what he's doing with West Ham?
I think the Caribbean just loves to have someone that we could claim. I remember even looking at the CONCACAF Gold Cup, you know, and a number of players with that sort of British and UK heritage in the squad. Bobby Cordova, Reed from Fulham last season, etc. So I think West Ham are going to enjoy a lot of our Caribbean support through Antonio, and just in general, he's a footballer that we love to love, in the sense of he might be the most skillful, but we love that Caribbean, that hard, tough in the tackle, you know, and that grit. We love that. And Mikel Antonio, I think one of the things that stand out most about him to me is he seems to be enjoying his football. In the fact, from a perspective of not necessarily being somebody that you would count to be a leader of a team like West Ham in the English Premiership. So he's enjoying it. He's not crushing under the pressure. He's enjoying it, and I think that will benefit him as long as he's able to stay fit. He will be a joy to watch him in the league.
Same.
I think I'd say
Caribbean. The Caribbean. If you look at the Olympics going there, we were supporting Venezuelan athletes. So he just appears to say yes.
Somebody connected. I think the Canadian sprinter. I think Trinidad.
The grass.
The grass. They supported them in the Olympics.
You know, we love the claim.
So
I think West Ham and Antonio will definitely have
as a Caribbean boy, because Ansel, you would know, playing in the MLS, playing in the US, back in the day, few Caribbean athletes playing in the MLS. What kind of support you would have had throughout the Caribbean as well, playing with any MLS in that support? Was it that same kind of feeling with the Caribbean?
Yeah, exactly. Definitely, it was those, like, you go LA and people from Grenada, Jamaica, all over, you know, enhance you, take you home by them. You get the support from all over the Caribbean. You know, people who hasn't come back home for years.
Yeah.
Just happy to see somebody who they can say yes,
Yeah.
is mine. You know,
Yeah.
same country. Basically, when we are there, it's only while we in Trinidad we tend to say, oh, I'm from Grenada. Or what. When you out there, I'm from the Caribbean. It's a proud,
Yeah.
proud people.
Let's move to the club that I think has the biggest fan base in Trinidad and Tobago. Manchester United, former club of Dwight York. They are third, sitting third, joint second, third on goal difference. They have the talisman back in terms of Cristiano Ronaldo back. What's your thoughts on Man U in terms of their chances? Are they really title contenders, or is it that they would?
I support Chelsea. So from that perspective, I want to say that Manchester United are not going to live up to the billing,
Yeah.
but it is hard to count them out as a real contender now, especially with Cristiano Ronaldo. I think they've done some really solid business in the transfer window as well. Cristiano Ronaldo being that cherry on top. Strangely enough, I don't think that he has the legs anymore to go 38 games, well 35 now, as well as the European agenda. But I think he'll definitely be a great influence on the squad. And from a purely neutral standpoint, man, I would love to see Cristiano Ronaldo come back to the Premier League and really show, even a glimpse of what we would have seen in his first stint and in his other endeavors at Real Madrid and in Italy.
I think he will because he's a goal scorer. It shows in the last game yesterday against when Portugal game. He showed he's a natural goal scorer with Rashford on one side and Greenwood or whoever they want to put. As long as if Pumper is the Pumper that we saw in the European Championship, I think he would be unstoppable.
But I think there's a point to note there in the sense of the options that Manchester United have. They have Rashford, Martial, Greenwood on one side, Cavani,
Sancho.
Sancho. They recently bought in. I think they will have to be very careful with how they manage all of these players, all of these options, because from an ego standpoint, Marcus Rashford is a big dog.
That's his club. That's his club.
I think they will revere Cristiano Ronaldo returning, but I mean, at the end of the day, as you would know very well, Ansel, as a professional, you want to play. You're not really prepared to sit down and allow another man to come and take your spot.
But Cristiano Ronaldo is Cristiano Ronaldo. Anywhere he goes, and he is Manchester United. So I think Rashford and them will look up to him and learn from him.
But all right, so Ronaldo coming back. Sancho recently bought. What you saw from Sancho for these 3 games in so far? For me personally, I think he has been off the pace since the Euros. And now he's going into the season. I think he's still off the pace a bit.
Well, even if you look back at the last season at Dortmund, he was sort of in and out of the team. He started to pick up a few niggles, which is always worrying at this age and at this stage in his development, where he should be pushing on and establishing himself, slowed down by injury. So he had a sort of inconsistent end to the season, especially. He didn't play very much in the Euros, and he's coming into Manchester United. Remember, he would have played across the city for Manchester City before he went out to Germany. So it will be interesting to see how he deals with the pressure, how he deals with the sense of occasion of playing for a team like Manchester United, and more so now competing so vigorously for a spot. It's Ronaldo, it's Mason Greenwood, who's been doing fantastically.
But that is what I wanted to get at. Sancho coming into Manchester United, believing that his pick is automatic.
Definitely.
No, I don't think so.
It's not automatic. Still, it's not.
In football, nothing is automatic.
I believe I think Ronaldo's spot is automatic when he scored. And with Sancho, do you think, because Greenwood, I think the person that we thought would have suffered the most with Ronaldo coming back would have been Greenwood. But with his start, I don't think you could leave Greenwood off the squad.
I want to disagree with you there, because Greenwood, Ronaldo comes in, Ronaldo plays in the middle of the park. Greenwood is more wide coming in. Yeah, I think the person that will suffer most is Cavani because Cavani is their leading, Ronaldo is their leading striker. They play basically 4-3-3. So with two alongside them, let's say Rashford and Greenwood on both sides. So I think the person who
So Sancho is out of your team, Ansel?
for Manchester United,
Yes.
yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And unfortunately, I have to agree because
Yeah, it's not. It's today he's like this, and then tomorrow, yeah. So you pick the player with the most fun.
yeah, he's gonna have a really tough time breaking into that first 11. And I think in order to not stunt Mason Greenwood's progress, Ole might be tempted to use Ronaldo wide on the left, as we've seen in previous years. Yes, he's a bit older. He might be a bit slower now. His recovery time might be a bit longer, etc. So you want to put him in a place where he has the least work to do, perhaps.
Yeah.
But I feel the best way to get the best out of Mason Greenwood would be to allow Cavani to play centrally as much as possible and use Ronaldo more coming in from the left.
Well, let's move to your team. You come out in a Chelsea blue today.
I made a point of dressing appropriately. Chelsea have some deficiencies for me as a fan, but I think more than ever before, I could feel a little bit comforted by the fact that Tuchel, the coach, is very pragmatic and he's thinking on a level that perhaps our most recent coach may not have been thinking. So the deficiencies, he knows how to compensate, I should say. I think our defense still lacks something there. I'm not too sure what, because we've seen the persons that have been suspect in the past, holding their own so far. Christensen in particular.
But you're concerned about the defense. One goal conceded out of 3 games. You're still concerned about defense. Last season, most clean sheets coming to the end of the season.
It is never. I'm never comfortable. I should say. And even more so now, where you see Kante picking up a lot of injuries. He's not able to play consistently in the squad, and I think that has an effect on that back three that we like to play with. Kante.
I think that is you just said the nail on the head right there. Kante fit, it takes up for two basically players because Jorginho is not a defensive midfielder. He's something like Pirlo. He's a passer from deep. So when people see him playing from the two stoppers, they think he's a defensive, but no, he was getting the passing lane to block the passes, but he's a passer from deep. So Kante makes up the ground.
Yeah, he goes out, tackle here, cut down play.
So with Kante on the field, yes, but if they got another guy like Kante to do that, they will struggle.
I also think Jorginho is very vulnerable in that role, in terms of picking up the ball off of the defense when the press is high. We've seen him caught in possession a couple of times, and he gets a bit flustered if the pass is not immediately on. He's not a ball handler per se, someone that will hold the ball. He gets a little bit flustered, a little bit panicky, and I think with Kante more often, or not more often, but picking up more injuries and sitting out more time, it exposes Jorginho, and by extension, it exposes the defense. But I must say that the one combination that I do love is Azpilicueta, the captain, in the right centre back.
Yeah, as a part
instead
of
the right wing back. For reasons obvious, getting on in age as well. He's slower, and the pace of the Premier League is. Fanatic. I think it's just going.
It's ridiculous.
It's just increasing. So, please, if you look at the Ascension football show, Mr. Tuchel, use Azpilicueta more in the right centre back role rather than the right wing back, and allow Reece James to express himself.
Ansel, Lukaku is back. I think there's a nightmare for all defenders. You be a defender, Lukaku.
Definitely big, strong, speedy, skillful. In the English league, other than Cristiano, I don't think there's another forward who get it done as him.
What is your, if I could throw a question to answer, your feeling on defending against players like Lukaku who like to post up, pick it up back to goal, turn on you quickly, one touch turns and everything?
Actually, most players do not have what Lukaku has. He has space. He can play as a poster. He can head the ball, and he can shoot. Basically, better with his left, but he's more he's balanced. So as a defender, what can you do? You cannot sure. You're never quite, because you don't want to go too close to him because he can turn you. So you hope that your midfielder recover, so then you double it. Yeah. Other than that, you drop off as a back four and hope that.
One in his debut game, where he really gave a really torrid time of it to the defender. That was that had the job of trying to pin him down. And I think Lukaku, based on the way Chelsea likes to play, is the ideal fit. And it's just about him. It's all left up to him now. And I think he's shown in the past that he has the right mentality, the right mindset to overcome and to prove. Because a lot is still being said.
That's what I want to get at. His last stint in England would have been with Manchester United, and he had a rough time to the last season, scoring 13 goals. I think underachieving. Now back with Chelsea, do you think he would be playing with Inter? He won the Champions, he won the Serie A with Inter Milan, taking that, dethroning Juventus. What's your thoughts on him coming back with Chelsea? Would he actually get it done in the Premiership?
The key thing for me about him, his desire to come back to Chelsea, is his ambition. You're coming off a winning season. It's not to say you went to Inter Milan, you didn't win. You're coming off a winning season. They did fairly okay in Europe, and he's shown that maybe I want a different challenge or more of a challenge to come back to Chelsea. Remember, this is the club, his boyhood club in a sense, the club that he always wanted to achieve and accomplish for. So that's the key thing for me, and I sort of look at football in that sort of cerebral way. Yes, if you're good and you're physically strong, etc. But I like to observe our players' brain function, and I think Lukaku has shown that he wants a greater challenge and he wants to accomplish in a different.
Would he succeed at that challenge?
Yeah, I think Lukaku at the end of the season will have between 20 to 25 goals easy in the English league. Easy, because as Salah did, the Chelsea went to develop, learn, and come back. And Salah was the man in the English league.
And still is one of the guys.
And still is, so it's that year or 2 years away. There you go, Italy. Italy is known for a defensive-minded thinking.
Tough league.
Tough defenders. He can only learn. So, and he was most goal second to him in the Italian league.
So talking about Salah, moving on to Liverpool. He's currently fifth. Before we get there, Manchester City now in top 5 at this point, but we'll get to them. Liverpool, what's all the thoughts on Liverpool? Last year had a somewhat off season with a lot of injuries, finishing, still getting into the top 4 in the last 2 weeks, last 2 rounds of the league. What's your thoughts on Liverpool this season and their chances?
I think you can never count Liverpool out for the quality of players that they have, as well as management. You can never count them out. What we would have seen last season, we hope, was just a one-off season in the sense of injuries, etc. That really kept them back, held them back a little bit. But so far, I think they look not back to their very best, but certainly with 3 games in, you've seen glimpses of the things that you want to see from Liverpool. You're seeing some goals coming from various parts of the pitch, and you're seeing that ruggedness with Van Dijk, Fabinho. I think Wijnaldum is gone, would have been a key man, and I don't think they've lost that step just yet.
I think so, because I think he was one of the key guys in the puzzle, and to replace him, there hasn't actually.
Thiago came, but I don't think
it's
he's...
two different players. Two different players. So the style will change a bit. But I think definitely they would be up there.
They'll be up there.
Yeah, but too much quality too.
I mean, they is a fantastically blessed team in terms of talent. You know,
with a great coach.
All over the park, they have 2-3 players competing. For instance, Robertson, the left back, out for the start of the season, and the young guy from Greece, Simiskas. You know, he slotted him.
I think they should have given him the opportunity against Chelsea.
I thought so as well. You know, in my fantasy Premier League, I kept him in, even knowing that Robertson was fit again, and I paid the price.
Well, they got you 1 point. He came on. I think you wanted him to stay off the pitch.
He didn't start.
But he came on. At least the coach gave him that confidence to know that you did well, son, for the last 2 games. And although the big dog is back, I will still give you some minutes in the position. But I truly believe
seniority.
I truly believe Liverpool as well would contest for the title, especially with Van Dijk. If Van Dijk could stay, and the injury to Van Dijk wasn't one of it was a tackle on him getting injured in that way. It's not like it's a niggling hamstring injury or anything like that. So God forbid something like that happens again. I don't think he would have an injury leaving him out for so long in that manner. And I think with the manner that he handled Lukaku over the week, the last round in round 3, I think Van Dijk is the man. Very few forwards could. I say he's back. I think that game as well, and would say that he's back because everybody thought that Lukaku would have a good game, at least a good game against them, and he really kept him quiet from basically the whole game.
As you actually mentioned, it's not the type of injury like a reoccurring. So hopefully he can stay fit. Where Liverpool will have concern, I think, is in Matip, who has that type of injury, that sort of injury that niggles and it's just pesky. You know, it pops up at the wrong time, the wrong part of the season. That would leave them out for a stretch of games. But Van Dijk certainly has shown.
They have a lot of backup. They have Gomez. Although I still like Gomez with Van Dijk as the top pair, but he has some injuries.
To me, one of Liverpool main man is Mane. Mm-hmm. If Mane is out, they're gonna struggle. I think he's just as important as Van Dijk. His work rate. He is another Conte to me for Chelsea. He's one, I mean, it's 2 different positions. But the mileage that he puts in on the field, tackling defenders and running off the ball and scores a lot of very important goals too.
As you bring up the Liverpool front line, I think the one thing that I would have liked to see is probably a little bit of differentiation from the seasons gone by. They've relied very heavily on that front three, Mane, Firmino, Salah, and I think the person that has slowed down or not produced as much has been Firmino. Diego Jota has come in from Wolves, showed that he could step up to that level towards the end of last season, and even this season he's already gotten himself into the score sheets. I think they've reached a point where they must make a decision on which one of those two is the person to play that centre forward or false nine or whatever.
For some years now, I've been saying they need to get a number 9. Liverpool needs a number 9. I don't think Jota is the number 9 you're looking for, but I think he would do a good job.
He certainly put his hand up, which is the point I'm making. More than an argument for him to be the number 9, but he put his hand up
to be in that starting level,
to consistently produce, rather than only get an opportunity when somebody else is injured.
We will mention Manchester City sitting 7th in the table, 6 points, winning 2, losing 1 game. Do you think it's just rust? They just shake it off a little rust, and Man City will be back up again, fighting for the
I have a sort of twofold thought on this. I think Manchester City, although they played really well last season, they were a bit fortunate to win the league. In the sense that Liverpool began to break down, and when they did, Chelsea was in some uproar. And if these teams remain fit, remain consistent, to challenge Manchester City, add to that the West Hams, these bogey teams, the Leicesters that you're never quite sure, the Leeds, you're never quite sure what you'll get on the day. I think they're going to have a much more difficult time establishing themselves this season, and that current position might be symptomatic of that. But on the flip side, I think just like Liverpool, you can never count them out. So I'm not too sure where I'm going with that. I wouldn't bet on this one, but I think they're in for a really, really tough and a run for their money from some of these other teams.
And I think the whole English league, all teams will be tough. But in the January transfer window here, Liverpool get somebody to replace Aguero, where it's 25 goals per season. They will jump from 7. right.
Their season to lose if they get no
I was
money.
lucky enough to see Man City play Tottenham in Wembley just before the COVID start, and believe me, it's an amazing team to see play. The movements of the ball and the coaching tactics. To be honest, I really don't think no other coach in the Premiership thinks way past Pep.
Sometimes he overthinks.
You
Being a fantasy guy as well, I think he sends a lot of fantasy owners crazy week in, week out.
Another thing I want to say, that if he is there too in the transfer window,
if he is there,
if he's there, because if you look at his history from Barcelona to Bayern Munich, he leaves after certain
3 or 4 seasons.
So watch him.
if he's there.
When we come back, we go through the guys' predictions for the top 4 and then the winners of the other top 4 leagues.
Pest control is a pain, but you don't have to go it alone. If you're a business that needs someone who will fix your problems point blank, go with the brand that's tested. Go with Terminix. Born almost a century ago in Memphis, Tennessee, Terminix International's mission has been to spread its innovations across the world through its integrated pest and termite management system, reducing the infestation of pests and vermin. Our Trinidad franchise neutralizes the threat of tropical insects and ensures that companies, from food production to hospitality, protect their investment and get the maximum value from our relationship. And we've been doing it well for over 20 years. Termites and pests are relentless, but they're no match for Terminix. Contact us today for a free consultation and quote, and let's introduce you to convenience. Protect your premises today. Choose a service provider that persists. Talk to Terminix.
Pests bothering you? Call Terminix at 672-5007 or 672-0042 or visit our website at terminix.co.tt for a free quote and consultation. Join our fight against pests.
Get in the game with Ascension. Quality for champions.
Hey, Ascension! Ascension! Premium quality and style make you stand out all the time. Ascension is quality for champions. Ascension fit is always right. Take your game to higher heights. Ascension got the quality for champions. Now everybody say, hey, oh, we wearing Ascension when we play. To run out on the field in style. What's the brand that we want? Ascension! 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 We wearing what we wearing is Ascension. Quality for a champion. Ascension. We wearing what we wearing is Ascension.
Get in the game with Ascension. Quality for champions. Lasso Frame Maritime Limited, the best in marina services. At our facilities, security checks ensures that all vehicles are secured. Our newly renovated bathrooms are always kept in a clean working order. Need repairs and maintenance? We have you covered. Our qualified workmen will get the job done. Boat storages, from our marina, you can easily push off for a family sailing trip. Or out fishing with the boys. Or a fun DDI experience with friends. Boat repairs, secured parking, extensive camera system, boat charters, boat rentals, down the island parties. Contact us at 1-868-634-1653. Lasso Frame Maritime Limited, the best in marina services. Life's better on a boat.
Amante Del Cafe is located at Magnificent Mall, number 271 Southern Main Road, McBean, Couva. Amante Del Cafe. Happiness begins with brew.
And we're back. I'm going to put you guys on the spot here for a moment. So the English Premier League, I want the top four and I want the top goal scorer. So I'll start with seniority. Ansel, I'll put you on the spot first. I want to give me from first to fourth who in positions.
Well, I would be a little biased because in England I'm a Blues too. So I'll start with Chelsea, Man City, Man U, Manchester United. And this is kind of ticklish in the fourth place though. Do you even think about Arsenal? Because I honestly think they're coming about twice. So for those Arsenal fans, sorry. But I think Tottenham going to be there.
Tottenham. So Liverpool is out there top four?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Wow.
Well,
I think it would be between Liverpool and...
Who are leaving out and say it? Don't get it's only going to be one point in the top four. We have...
According to Van Dijk is fit enough to stay there all season, I will stay with it.
All right.
all right. Well, I have Chelsea on top. I would have to say Manchester United really looks like a team that could challenge Chelsea. So I have Manchester United in second position. I have Liverpool third, and I have Manchester City fourth.
So Tottenham is out of this.
Tottenham is nowhere near the top six.
Wow.
I think they're gonna fall away.
Even with Harry Kane,
Yeah, I think they're gonna fall away really badly. And again, you can hold me to this.
Well, I want to hold it there.
So what about West Ham?
West Ham is going to be just about 4, 5, 6, somewhere around there.
I would say the usual suspects will be 1-2. So I would go with Liverpool will regain the title. And after that falter of last season, I would go with Man City second, Manchester United third, and I truly believe West Ham would have what it
Chelsea
takes.
is no.
No, I do have Chelsea. But even with Lukaku there, I think Chelsea would suffer a bit. Would suffer a bit, and I would put them fifth. I really don't believe in that Chelsea team so much.
Why is he trying to pacify us?
I would put West Ham. I would give West Ham the benefit of the doubt at this point. I'm being a bit biased, so to Antonio, I'm choosing to play Jamaica instead of England. I would give him that benefit of the doubt. Before we go into the top scorer, Ansel mentioned Arsenal. I was looking through. I was looking through the paper and I realized Arsenal things bottom of it.
Almost on page
So
2.
almost on page 2. They flip the starting season before a game a ball is kicked, Arsenal is 1, so they just flip it wrong. They're 20 or
I think the start they had is worse in how many years?
Yeah, 30 or 40 years,
Not,
I don't know. I don't think much could be said without a single goal scored. I don't think much could be said about Arsenal at this stage. 20th looks really bad.
Would they be in a relegation battle? Do you think they would be?
So I was just about to say, for history's sake, I hope not. I like those sort of legacies to be preserved. They've never been relegated. So I hope they don't end up in a battle here. I hope they can rise out of the relegation zone and significantly so. But at the moment, I think when I look through these teams here, 1 to 20, Arsenal might be in for some trouble because solely for the fact that yes, they do have quality, but they don't have consistency. And if they were to lose a game or two more, we could see them really disintegrate.
Yeah, but then the coach will go. I think by weekend he would go.
So Ansel, you believe the outside of the alright, so the coach, even if the coach is sacked, a new coach coming in, they have injury problems. There are a lot of the top players injured. There's no getting around from that. Where do you go from there? How do they recover the season?
And I think Arsenal, really, what we've seen, what we've heard, it seems to be a toxic environment. You have players publicly stating their desire to leave the club. Players pulling and tugging with management to play for playing time or to leave or whatnot. That's not something, even a change of coach.
Yeah, but when that's my point. When you watch the table, you would see Arsenal right now 20th. Arsenal would be between 14th to that 20th spot. There is relegation battle. You're talking about. I'm not seeing them being better than Wolves in the coming weeks. I'm not seeing them being better than Aston Villa in the coming weeks. I'm not seeing them being better than Leeds in the coming week. Southampton.
Mr. Edwards is a long season. It is, and with a new coach, new energy.
You believe they'll get rid of Arteta before the winter?
Those 4 or 5 games, definitely go.
I think they've given him until September, and I think that's too much. The writing is on the wall, so to speak.
Because something continued from since last year.
3 games, no goals. That is symptomatic of a larger problem. And if you don't fix it now, you could easily find yourself looking at 5 defeats to start your season.
So they have 3 more games in September. They let's say they get 1 point from those 3 games in September, and
he's gone.
But you think a new coach could?
I think 1 more game and he's gone.
A new coach can recover that season.
According, yeah.
Well, the job then becomes avoiding relegation and possibly seeing if you could reach the top 10. But if they lose another game, I could safely say there's no European football in the picture.
None.
So the Arsenal would be.
Well, we will follow, as they say, the Arsenal in the coming weeks. And give me your prediction for the top goal scorer, Ansel. Top goal scorer name.
Lukaku.
Romelu Lukaku.
Even with Cristiano Ronaldo.
Even with Cristiano Ronaldo, because again, I don't think Cristiano Ronaldo could play 35 games in the league.
Harry Kane,
if he plays
top goal
25,
scorer last season, top assist getter.
no,
Still not Harry Kane, Lukaku.
Lukaku.
All right, I would stay with Harry Kane. Still getting the job done, and if he goes to City in January as well, I think he would just push on from that. I still don't have Lukaku as second in goal scorer. I think Cristiano Ronaldo would get the job done as well with Manu, and he would be the second.
You seem to have a clear bias against Chelsea. You don't have Chelsea in your top 4. You don't have Lukaku among the top
Goal
2
scorer.
goal scorers.
Yeah, not top 2. I'm glad you point out top 2. And they wouldn't have a guy in the assist leading race for assists
Well,
as well.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, so I think they'll have some issues. They'll have some issues. So we'll see where Chelsea end up. So we have the next top 4 leagues in Europe. I just want to get the winners of them. Who you think? So next one we have the German Bundesliga. So give me the winner. Bayern Munich is sitting third after 3 games.
Bayern Munich is going to win the German. Bayern Munich is going to win the German. You know, they've continued their trend of scooping up the best players from other teams, and Bayern Munich is going to win the German.
Yeah, so your money's on Bayern Munich to win. All right.
In France,
you go to France with Messi being there. PSG.
I want to upset the apple cart a little bit and say PSG not going to win the French league. For the mere fact that I when I look at PSG, I see a team that has not just the egos, but you know sometimes growing up and say you may have had a PE teacher who's not really a coach, and he just puts the children onto the field and say you all play, and that's the feeling I get when I look at PSG. Maybe when Lionel Messi is ready to be more of a starter and a consistent appearance maker for them, you'll see a little bit more structure to their operation. But I don't want to say PSG here, and I'll go back with last year's winners, Lille.
I think Lille would fall off a bit from last year, but when we talk about PSG, we saw Lionel Messi making his debut last match wrong. What's your thoughts on the 30 plus minutes he played? What's your thoughts?
I mean, I don't think that was enough to really see what he's capable of in a new league, but the French league is chalk and cheese compared to the Spanish league. I expect Lionel Messi to coast through. Whether or not he's in a frame of mind to continue playing at the level that he played at before is left to be seen. You know, a lot of persons are saying he's chasing the Champions League. Maybe that might be more of his focus, which is why I say unless PSG can kind of get their acts together, talent is only going to take them so far.
What's your thoughts on
I think I look at the game when he come on in the game was just that flat, that flat. So I think he's gonna get there in time, as I say, because he looked a little bit behind. I saw him play against Venezuela a couple of nights ago, and same thing, just trolling through.
But it's been for some years now. Messi has been playing that style of football, just kind of basically going through the motions with Barcelona.
I think the difference is that at Barcelona, he for much of the time he wanted to be there, you know, and he wanted to achieve what his goal was, which is to win another Champions League. I think he still wants to win another Champions League, but in this environment, I don't know if the distractions of the other players and that sort of thing you might see Lionel Messi just clucking his card to take home his fat paycheck, and maybe in the next season or two he's off.
He's out.
You know, on another adventure, or maybe even retire from the game.
But do you think the top 3 can work together? We have Mbappe, because when Messi came on, Mbappe basically disappeared from the game. I think he had 1 attempt on goal after in 30 minutes. So, what's your thoughts? And then Messi came on for Neymar. So, do you think the 3 will be able to play together and function?
Definitely. Messi, Neymar, if he stays, if not, train Di Maria, which I think been consistent for a couple of years. Well, no, I mean, PSG has a lot of talent in the team, but definitely I think they're going to be playing together.
I think that was like an experiment of sorts to see more so how Messi will get on with Mbappe. We know the real pull of him going to PSG was Neymar. So to take off Neymar and replace him with Messi was more so an experiment to see how he will play with Mbappe than anything else. And then again, Mbappe has also expressed his desire to leave. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic to see how the rest of the season goes. If that is in fact the top three.
I too believe that PSG would win the French league as well. The Spanish league. A lot of stars leaving.
Atletico.
I think Real Madrid will challenge this season. So I would say I could see Real Madrid winning.
I am a Real Madrid fan in Spain, but the reason why I said Atletico, with getting back Griezmann.
I think that's enough for them. I believe Real Madrid as well would get it done.
For obvious reasons, right?
Not for obvious reasons. They are the top league.
I mean, they are basically the best coach in the world, Ancelotti.
I believe with Ancelotti coming in would help a lot. Zidane's issue was he had issues in terms of motivating the players and the top players. Bale coming back home, Ancelotti would embrace those players and give them enough time to really to see the best out of them. Maybe in sports, but you would see the best out of Bale at some point this season. Isco, you would see something out of Isco through the season, and I think that would be enough to get it done for Real Madrid. We had a chance last season to win the league. I think with Ancelotti coming back, it would be enough.
I think, although as much as I back Real Madrid to win the league, I think the dismantling of this centre-back pairing, Varane gone, Sergio Ramos gone, is going to be telling. But I still feel that they have the ways and the players in the positions, the key positions, to be able to challenge Atletico. And that's my top two. I see Atletico as second.
Okay. And we want to the Italian league. No Cristiano, no Lukaku. Lazio is on top. What we
Still haven't seen you. Still haven't.
Yeah, but he scored 4.
I think we've seen a lot of really good Italian talent coming through, especially at the Euros. We had an opportunity to see a lot more of them. This is probably the hardest league to call, I think. But I feel as though Inter has the momentum. I think they have pretty much, But I think they pretty much kept their squad together, apart from the departure of Lukaku and one or two others. So I think they will be able to maintain the challenge by Napoli or even Lazio, who remain at the top.
Who look very. What's your pick answer in Italy?
This is a ticklish one. I'll go with Juventus.
Juventus. My next question was if Juventus will make the top 4 when you
the 12th. I think, to be fair though, Cristiano Ronaldo was a bit of confusion in what Juventus really wanted to do for much of the time that he was there. Him gone now make the equation a little bit, or should make it a little bit easier.
Dybala is back as the man. Since Ronaldo has been there, Dybala really was in the doghouse for some. I don't know the reason behind it, because I think before Ronaldo coming to Juventus, Dybala was terrific. I really thought they would have worked, and it would have been a great pairing to see up top.
I think we need to get at least another forward though, because I don't think Morata is
not the guy.
No, he's not too consistent.
Well, having passed through my club, I would say he's at the right place.
He's a one-man striker,
so he's in the right place. But
so when you switch Lukaku for Morata,
never, not in this lifetime, not in the next. But I just want to say, I think a club not to be counted out as well. AS Roma. Mourinho, head coach. They picked up Tammy Abraham, who's not skipped a beat. He's gone right into the starting 11. He's already had a couple goals and some assists as well. And I think Roma will really be a revelation.
Jose won the Italian league before. He understands. I think the Italian league suits Jose the most in terms of his style. Score goal, lock down defense, and grind out a result. So you can't count out.
Definitely not. And I said I think they've fit some really interesting players in some key roles there. whether or not Mourinho will allow the team to flourish in its potential or maintain his really
style.
very close pragmatic style is left to be seen. But Roma is not to be counted out.
So your pick is
have Inter
on
winning.
top.
Juventus.
Winning. I would go with Roma. Jose being a former Real Madrid coach as well, I would give him a nod there. I came out watching Italian football. I think most Trinidadians was watching back in the day, having the Serie A on television on a Sunday morning would come out. So I was an old Juventus boy, Del Piero, Thuram, watching those guys play. But I think with this one, I think Juventus would be in a bit of turmoil after the Cristiano Ronaldo issue. They put everything through him. I think it would take some time to rebuild. So I would go with AS Roma for the title in Italy.
I also think there's few teams in the world get whatever player they want. And it's the Real Madrid, PSG, Juventus.
Bayern Munich.
So that does it for another show, guys. I think it was a pleasure having you guys on set. I would ask you to come back again to go through a few more things. We want to still talk a bit more football, international football. So we would continue the discussion over the coming weeks. We have the picks, and we'll see if your pick hold in the coming weeks. So it's a pleasure having your guys on set.
It's been a pleasure to sit here with you guys on set.
Thanks again, Mr. Edwards. A player of mine.
Suffice it to say, coach.
Nice to be on the set with you too.
So that does it for another Ascension show. Remember to watch us on all our social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and at our website at the Ascension Football Tournament.